Good evening. I'm Leslie Monster and this is Nightline. I just had to say it. What we've got here is a monthly unboxing. It's pretty late because I was waiting for once, Fairyloot to come. It's also going to be a wee little unboxing. I only have 3 because I skipped Illumicrate, I skipped Evernight, and I skipped the next 4 months of Broken Binding. So what I'm also going to do in addition is show you some of the books I've pre-ordered that have come in over the last several months. I don't have many anymore. I'm really trying to be good about only buying the ones that I need and only on pre-order. So I'm going to show you those. Sorry. I have a salivary gland thing, so if I'm pushing on my side of my jaw, just ignore me. It got inflamed several years ago and I ended up in the hospital because it was permanent like this. I looked like I had the mumps. And now if I don't drink enough, it gets like there's scar tissue in there and it gets caught and like swallowed. You know, it's just the whole thing. Okay. And then I just ate some chili and it activated it and now there's like a little rock where my salivary gland should be. Anyway, let's look at books. So the first I've got is Aardvark. Let's open this up. Hold on, I'm gonna open my door. I don't know, I always get hot when I do unboxings, even if I'm cold. Also, if you can hear crackling, I've got my fake fireplace on because I find it cozy to read with. Here is this month's card. Looks like it's got all the logos on it and then like cuttings from the covers. And then this is the challenge for the month of November. I should do one of these one of these days. I know I always say that. So there were actually 2 books in here that I wanted, but I only got one. I kind of regret it now, but it's fine. I'll get the other one from the library. But the one I didn't end up getting was Eleanor of Avignon, which is a historical fiction book about the plague and a badass lady learning medicine. And that sounded really awesome to me, so I am going to read it. I've got it on hold at the library, but I did not get it through Aardvark. Here, Pippin. Play with the box. Then we've got, ooh, this month's bookmark is really cute. Look at it. I love it. It says, this space is for rent. Apply with your good ideas. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's cute. And then the book that I ended up with is The Last Scholar and the Fairy Door by H.G. Parry. This is an author that I discovered over the last like year and a half, and I love her. I read the first book in her series about the French Revolution, but what if there was magic in the French Revolution and like vampires and stuff. And then I read last year Aardvark had The Magician's Daughter and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So of course I was going to get it when they came out with The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door. So let's read the synopsis a little because I've forgotten what this is about. Hamford, which is kind of like Cambridge, I think. Oxford and Cambridge. 1920. Gilded and glittering, England's secret magical academy is no place for Clover, a commoner. She's a commoner. She's there only to find a cure for her brother Matthew, one of the few survivors of a deadly fairy attack on the battlefields of World War I. Oh, interesting. When Clover catches the eye of a golden boy, Alden Lennox Fontaine and his friends, doors that were previously closed to her are flung wide open. But during the summer she spends in Alden's orbit, old and deadly secrets are unearthed. The consequences will only be truly understood many years later when it's too late. Step into a mythic tale of secret scholarship, fairy curses, and the deadliest spells of all, the ones that friends cast on each other. You know, I don't actually think I've ever read the synopsis of this. I think I just saw H.G. Parry and added it to my TBR. And that's it. Oh, that's cute. Look, there's like a little pen. Oh, it's on the cover too. Look, they're pens. I didn't notice that. So not too exciting under the cover, just black and white, and that's it. Oh, but that's pretty. I like that. So that's Aardvark. Now, book of the month, I did get 2, mostly because I need exactly 3 books to complete my challenge. And if I only use 1 credit a month, I won't complete my challenge. So I had to get a book this month or next month. So I just decided to go ahead and get it this month. Slightly regretting my choice. It was a little impulsive. It was like really early in the morning when I ordered it, but it's fine. Where's the bookmark? So this month's bookmark, they've already given us this one. It's I'll Just Wait Here. We already have this one. What the? Not cool book of the month. By the way, their marketing is unhinged. What they're doing on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and it's just like kind of wild. I think they're very clearly trying to market to a younger audience, which apparently I read this somewhere. Most people who subscribe to subscription boxes are Gen Z. Let's talk about my first book, which I'm starting tonight as soon as I finish filming this. I need to finish filming it and then edit it. Or maybe I'll edit it in the morning. I'll edit it in the morning. I don't want to do it tonight. But that's Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. It's actually, the full title is Dinner for Vampires, Life on a Cult TV Show, while also in an actual cult. And you can't really see online, but it looks like she's got a vampire bite on her shoulder there. So that's fun. Now, this is not a novel. It is a memoir about Bethany Joy Lenz, who I guess goes by the name Joy. This is the underneath. And she starred on One Tree Hill for a really long time. I think that show was on for 10 or 12 years. I don't remember. My sister loved it, so I've seen a couple of episodes here and there, but I never cared all that much about it. But I am always interested in books about cults, and I've heard this book is actually well written. And I love a well-written celebrity memoir with something to say, which talking about being in a cult while on a TV show sounds right up my alley. So I'm really excited about that. And I like the vintage look we've got going on here. It sort of reminds me of last year, or was it the year before, when I'm Glad My Mom Died came out. Marketing's working, so. And then the second one, this was my impulse buy, and this is the one that, I mean, you could argue that they're catering to a certain audience at this point, and that is BLOODGUARD by Cecy Robson. I thought this was a debut author, but to my surprise, there are like 50 books written by her. She is a very prolific romance author. I've never heard of any of her books, so I'm a little worried now that she's not going to write the kind of book that I will like. Since I never was called to any of her books before, or had even heard of them. But I also couldn't really pass up the chance to get Book of the Month's first book with a sprayed edge. So it was an extra $1.99. Oh, and it's not just a sprayed edge. Okay, we'll talk about the plot in a second. But the inside of the book has end papers. Wow, Book of the Month. They're the same on the other side. This summary does sound really, so it could be really good. I just don't know if I'm gonna like the writing. This is a fantasy book. I believe it is also technically a romantasy, but it sounds interesting. So 100 years, tens of thousands of gladiators, and today only one will rise. Everything in the kingdom of Arrow is a lie. Leith of Grey thought coming to this new land and volunteering to fight in the gladiator arena, vicious, bloodthirsty tournaments where only the strongest survive, would earn him enough gold to save his dying sister. He thought there was nothing left to lose. He was wrong, and they took everything. His hope, his freedom, his very humanity. All Leith has left is his battle-scarred body fueled by rage and hardened from years of fighting for the right to live another day. Then Leith meets Maeve, an elven royal who is everything he despises, everything he should hate, until the alluring princess offers him the one thing he needs most, a chance to win the coveted title of BLOODGUARD and his freedom. But in a kingdom built on secrets and lies, hope doesn't come cheap, nor will his ultimate revenge. I like a gladiator story, I do, I don't know why. So this sounded interesting. Oh, in the back it says, enter the arena, seize 2 weapons, now try to survive. I'll be reading this sometime in the next 2 months so I can finish my Book of the Month challenge. So that is my Book of the Month. And then the last subscription box book that I have for you, I'll talk about why I skipped the other books in a second, is Fairyloot, the adult fantasy. Here is this month's theme. Here is the spoiler, even though you're gonna find out in about 15 seconds. Oh, it's kind of the original cover, but I like the original cover, so that's fine. This is a book I had pre-ordered, and then I canceled my pre-order when I realized that I was going to be getting it in this box. I'm very excited about it. It is totally up my alley. It is a queer fantasy romance, but the romance is going to be spread across a trilogy, I believe. And that is Sorcery and Small Magics by Maiga Doocy. I think that's how you say her name. It is a fantasy book. On the back it says, will you look for me? Each glimpse a beckon calling from within. Listen for me until the ringing of my voice becomes your only song. Hold my name in your bones until every wish need not be spoken. I don't know what that means, but maybe it'll mean something to me after I read it, which I was supposed to read this earlier this month, but it didn't come on time. So I will be reading this very soon as well. Here is The sprayed edges, those are pretty. It's got a guitar. It's the same on the top and the bottom. So I guess there's music in here. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh no, I like it a lot. Here's the front. The art style with the foiling is interesting. There's the back. This is what I was ho-hoing at. Look at that. That is such a pretty art style. I would like totally like get a printout. I would buy a printout of that and put it on my wall. I totally would. That is so pretty. I love that color palette. I love the look on his face. And I guess that's a violin, not a guitar, which is better because I like violins better than guitars. So there. And then the other side. Oh, that's like a totally different style. Okay, that's interesting. This is a pretty edition. I like it. And there's a bound-in author letter. It's not signed though, just a digital signature. That's fine. I don't give a crap. Oh, and it looks like it's got some annotated chapters and illustrations at the end. Look, she's drawn that. Interesting. I'm excited to read this. So, this excites. Oh, I missed something. Interesting. There's a alternate dust jacket. That's really pretty. Same artist as the inside. I don't know, I might flip it. I don't know. That's really pretty. Well, I'm pleased with my only fancy book that I got this month. So let's talk about why I skipped the other ones. So the first one that I want to talk about is Evernight. It's my first time skipping Evernight. And the book that they are doing is An Academy for Liars by, oh shoot, what's her name? My phone's right there. My computer. I should have prepared this, but I didn't. I just jumped right in. Alexis Henderson. An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. Put it right there. So honestly, I would have gotten this book, but I am tight on money. I'm always willing to give an author another chance. I read her first book, which I know some people love, and I liked it. And I said I'll read future books from her, but I only gave it 3 stars, like 3.5 actually. I think it was 3.5 star book. I wasn't interested in her second book at all, so I didn't read that. But this one does sound interesting, so I was going to read it, but I was like looking at my finances and I was like, I'm not gonna pay $50 for this book that I might only give 3 stars to, or worse. So we're just gonna check it out from the library, and if I love it, I can always get a secondhand copy of the pretty book if I think it's pretty enough to be worth it. So I skipped it. And then the second one that I skipped, I also want to read, and in fact I have an arc of it, so I'm gonna be reading it next week. And I was going to originally get it, but again, finances, so I skipped it. I'm trying to be better. Things are a little tight. I'm sure many of you understand. Some of these I have like built easily into my budget, and some of them I don't. So it's a little touch and go sometimes. I really would like this channel to start making money just to pay for the books. You know what I mean? Sorry, I won't talk about that again. Oh, never mind. False. This is still October. I also skipped November. I'll talk about that one next time. I do not have an arc of this book, and I do not want to read this book, which is why I skipped it. And it's called Until We Shatter. Who's the author? Kate Dillon. It's an action-packed epic heist fantasy from the author of Mindwalker, perfect for fans of Six and Crows and A Darker Shade of Magic. It's not adult, it's young adult. That's why I skipped it. So I wouldn't be against reading this book, but I don't want to pay a lot of money for a copy. If I haven't seen anyone read it, I don't know if it's good or not. And sometimes Illumicrate picks books that I don't think are very good. We don't always share taste, me and the Illumicrate ladies. I just said I'm skipping this. If people say it's good, I'll come back to it later. That's not important. Yeah, I skipped that one. And then I've talked about this before, but I also skipped The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams, which is the first book in a trilogy. I will, however, link down below an unboxing so you guys can see it, because it is really pretty. And honestly, if I hadn't have done my try a chapter and unhaul video, and that was an unhaul in one of those, I would have gotten this series having no idea, because it's been on my TBR for years and years and years. And other people seem really excited about it, but I don't want to pay $200 for a series that I DNF'd. Anyway, I've talked about this before. So let's move on real quick. I do want to show you my pre-orders. So the first thing I got, oh wait, I was making a cookie. I'll be right back. Trader Joe's has cookie dough. Gluten-free chocolate chip cookie dough. It's not the best chocolate chip cookie. It's too sweet. There's too much sugar in it. It's good for when you need a hot cookie. And I keep them in my fridge for emergencies. which is basically every night after dinner. Just kidding. I just found these a couple weeks ago, so it's not like I do this all the time. But you don't have to cook the whole batch. You can just like pull a cookie or two out and then cook it. So I made a cookie. It's too warm right now. I want to wait until it cools down a little, and so there's a little crunch. We'll come back to that. But I did want to show you, I bought a box set, and that is, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Game of Thrones, The Song of Ice and Fire got new covers, and they are gorgeous. I've never really liked the older covers. I mean, they're fine. I don't dislike them, but these ones are so pretty, and I love a floppy paperback, and I decided like in June or July that I wanted to do a full series reread and annotate, and I wanted floppy copies. So I actually bought a really grungy used copy of Game of Thrones and annotated about 100 pages of it when I started reading it in September, before this was available to order. So I got, it's on my Pango now if you guys want it. I annotated 100 pages, but I copied my annotations over to this new copy, which is this. So this is the first book. This is my favorite one. So I'm showing you my favorite one first. And it's obviously it's probably Jon Snow, but that's Ghost, but it's also a mountain, and it's also obviously north of the Wall. And they have a new logo for the series, The Song of Ice and Fire. And here's my annotations so far. I'm having a good time. I'm like 400 pages in, taking it really slow. I thought I was gonna be able to finish my reread by the end of the year, but I'm not. So it's gonna continue into 2025. That's fine. So Clash of Kings. This one, so that was obviously the Starks are the wolves. And then we've got a lion's mouth. And I'm not sure who that is supposed to be. It's fine though. It's a really cool illustration. I enjoy it. And then Storm of Swords. We've got a stag that transforms into a bloody battlefield for the Baratheons. Oh, this one's hefty. Some people have complained that the scenes are on the wrong ones, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me. And then we've got Feast for Crows. This one isn't a sigil. Obviously, it's just a crow. And then each one is a person with a sword on the cover, but you can't tell who they are. So that's a Feast for Crows. And then the spines all look like this. And then the last one is A Dance with Dragons. So that's the dragon's eye. And then it's a forest and a person on the inside. So I just think these are so cool. They're so like visually evocative, and they have a real like feel to them that really, I think, represents the series a lot better than, oh God, this one's big, than the other ones do. You ready? Yes, the cookie's ready. We're gonna take a cookie break. I did sprinkle some sea salt on here to try to cut back on some of the sugar. Oh, so good. Salt makes it better. Ooh, those are greasy. Super greasy. I always need sugar to finish my dinner. Does anyone else have that problem? Next book I want to show you, Del Rey has bought the Bridge Kingdom series, which was previously self-published by Danielle L. Jensen. I read A Fate Inked in Blood earlier this year, and I liked it. And I've had the Bridge Kingdom on my TBR for forever. So I finally have a copy of it. These are the editions. They're in paperback. They're not in hardcover. This one isn't my favorite. I really like the covers for books 2, 3, and 4, though. They haven't released 5 yet. 5 isn't coming out until next year because I guess it's Audible first, which is interesting. I think altogether, these are gonna look really pretty. And I could have read this on Kindle Unlimited, but I can't resist a well-matched set of pretty books. Plus, it's floppy, so. Then, this is probably my favorite 3 books. And my favorite thing that I've discovered this year, to be quite honest with you. These are the traditionally pubbed versions of Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a series that has taken the internet by storm, mostly nerds, over the last 3 or 4 years. It's been gaining steam, and it got picked up. So firstly, they only picked up the first 3 books. There are 7 now. The 7th one just came out. The ebook comes out on Tuesday, the 11th. And the audiobook, which I'm waiting for, because they're amazing, is coming out February 11th. And they just picked up the second 3 books, which is Ace is the publisher. They just announced they picked up the second 3 books because these sold well. So those will be coming in March, April, and May of next year. So for now, I just have the first 3 in hardcover. But once I finish book 7, you bet I will be starting a reread of the series, and I will be reading them in hard copy. But by the time I get around to book 4, I will have book 4 hardcover in my hands. So here's the first book, Dungeon Crawler Carl. You may have seen this one when I enjoy this. This is classic. I love the eye. I love it. I did want to show you the hardcovers because they're cool. So they have embossings of things from the series on them. So this one is Carl's catchphrase. Well, it's not his catchphrase. He has a catchphrase which is "Goddamn it, donut." But his more serious catchphrase is "You will not break me," which is like the main theme of the series. Oh no, it's a donut. I love her. I love her so much. And then book 2 is Carl's Doomsday scenario. This pink is not my favorite, but it's still enjoyable. Also, donut looks enormous, but it's just visual stuff. Like she's in the front and Carl's in the back. This one says boom, because Carl gets known for explosions in the dungeon. Not entirely of his own volition, but you know, he does like them. So, and then the third one is the Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook. I really like this one. I like the train with them and then Mongo, their pet velociraptor. And then the back is actually really cool. This one, like this is the spotlight. And then this one has an anarchist symbol on it for plot reasons. And then all of these come with a short story in the back that is exclusive to this edition. And the short story is really actually sort of a novella because it continues throughout the book. So the first thing I did when I got these was read the short story in the back at 1 month intervals, and you can see how things are progressing behind the scenes. And that's kind of cool. So, and then the last book I want to show you is a book that I now own 3 copies of. I have the indie paperback and I have the ebook, which is what I read. That was my reading copy. And now I have the hardcover version, which is Blood Over Brighthaven. I'm a little mad because my copy clearly got razored. There's a razored cut in the cover, but it's fine. I'm not gonna throw a fit. But this is so pretty. I love this. So this is like obviously a custom cover because that is a device from the book. Here's the back. It says, Siona stepped into the circle toward her destiny or toward the end of everything. The inside has a map of the city and the outlying areas. And then of course it's got sprayed edges. So this is just a really good book and I wanted a hardcover of it. And I hope more people read it and enjoy it. So this is a dark academia book. When I read about it, when I first read it, I said, if you like Babel or if you wanted to like Babel and didn't, try this book because it has very similar themes with a very different execution. So I'll just read you the top of the blurb here just so you know what it's about because I don't want to talk about it. The first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in this standalone dark fantasy from the author of The Sword of Kaigen. For 20 years, Siona has devoted every waking moment to the study of magic, fueled by a mad desire to achieve the impossible, to be the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. When Siona finally passes the qualifying exam and becomes a High Mage, the first woman High Mage, she finds her challenges have just begun. Her new colleagues are determined to make her feel unwelcome, and instead of a qualified lab assistant, they give her a janitor. What neither Siona nor her peers realize is that her taciturn assistant was not always a janitor. 10 years ago, he was a nomadic hunter who lost his family on their perilous journey from the wild plains to the city. But now he sees the opportunity to understand the forces that decimated his tribe, drove him from his homeland, and keep the privileged in power. At first, mage and outsider have a fractious relationship, but working together, they uncover an ancient secret that could change the course of magic forever if it doesn't get them killed first. So, I gave this 5 stars. Highly recommend. And that is it. That is the video. Oh, I have to do the thing. If you're still here, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, please don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe if you want to. It really is the best way to help me and support my efforts here doing this. If you have made it this far and you don't have anything to say about any of these books or my taste or whatever, then please leave me a dinosaur or a cat for Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I'm gonna go start Dinner for Vampires. You'll probably be hearing about it soon. Okay, love you, bye.